I will be conducting an experiment in order to prove or rather I can say experimentally verify the phenotypic ratio in case of dominant epistasis. So, the best example that we have studied in case of dominant epistasis is fruit color in Cucurbita pepo, that is summer squash. It exists in three colors, white, yellow and green, and it shows polygenic inheritance, that is the trait is under the control of cumulative effect of multiple genes rather than a single gene. So in case of Cucurbita pepo, there are two sets of genes that control. Here I have represented them as W and Y. What is dominant epistasis? So, dominant epistasis is when a dominant allele at one locus, here I have taken it as W, it produces a certain phenotype regardless of the allelic condition at the other locus. So in case of summer squash, that color is white, and W, whenever it will be present, irrespective of whether the dominant form of the other gene is present or the recessive form, it will always show a color, the fruit will always show a color that is white. But when the dominant form of W is absent, the color would come out to be yellow if it has a dominant of the other gene, that is Y, or when it is in completely recessive condition, the color would come out to be green. It would be better if you write somewhere which color represents what allele, otherwise it can get pretty confusing later on. So what I did is, I took two parents, the one with white fruit and the other with green fruit. The parents will produce, parent 1 will produce one type of gamete, that would be the one with genotype capital W and capital Y. Similarly, as with the other parent, it will produce only a single type of gamete, that would be small w and small y. When they will fuse, whichever gamete fuses, whether it is this one with this, or this one with this or this, the genotype as well as the phenotype in the F1 generation will remain the same. That is, the F1 generation will have white individuals because of the presence of the dominant allele over here, that is the epistatic gene. So what happens is, I will get this as my phenotype if these two fuse. Now after the F1 generation, four types of gametes can be formed. That would be one with capital W and capital Y. The other would be small w and small y. Then there would be one with capital W and small y, and one with small w and capital Y. So after selfing the taking two individuals from the F1 generation, we will get the possibility, and they can be represented by this Punnett square. There would be 9 different genotypes that are possible and 3 different phenotypes. So I have made a table which shows the different genotypes that are possible, taking them from the Punnett square, as well as the phenotypes that will be associated with them. So out of the 9 different genotypes, 6 of them, with the ones showing a dominant for W, will have white color, whereas the 2 which do not have a dominant for W but a dominant for Y will show yellow color, and only a single one out of the 9 genotypes will show green color. Now there are 2 ways in which we can produce the F2 individuals. The first way is, what we will do is, if we have total of 16 beads, okay, so what we will do is, for F1 female and F1 male, we will separate 8 of one color for female and 8 of the other color for the male, and put them like this, that for a particular gene, that is for W, that I represented by pink and purple, I kept them in one beaker, and the one that represent the different gene, they will be put in the other beaker. So this will represent the F1 female. Similarly goes for the F1 male. But there is also another simple way to do it. For the other method, like in that we had 4 different lots, over here we will only have 2. That would be, one gene would be put in one beaker, that is, the beads that represent a single gene are put in one beaker, and the one that represent the other gene are put in the other beaker. So in that we took out one bead from each lot. Over here we will randomly take out 2 beads for a particular gene. So if you close your eyes and do it, that would be a much better one, because we have to take them out random to get the best results. So here I got a combination of 4 different beads, which means it will represent capital W, capital Y, small y. So I put a tally mark over here for this. I will continue doing it as I have got 16 beads in total. So I will do it 16 times. But the beads that I used already, I would put them aside, and then I will begin with the another one, taking out 2 random beads from this and 2 random from this. So here I got a combination where I have capital W, small y, small y. I conducted this experiment 10 times. The more the number of times you do it, the better would be the ratio that you get. So after doing it, what I did was I added all of them. So what I did was added for each genotype that was there, the total number that I got, as well as total for the white that we got from these genotypes, and yellow as well as the green. Now we will calculate the phenotypic and the genotypic frequencies. So for the grand total, we have 118 white is to 31 yellow and 11 green. So when we took out, so the observed ratio came out to be 10.7 is to 2.8 is to 1, which is quite close to 12 is to 3 is to 1. Similar is for the genotypic ratio. I took the total for each genotype that I wrote, and then I calculated it, and it approximately comes out to be 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 4 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1 is to 2 is to 1.